Good afternoon, everyone. Um, I'm in Cascais in Lisbon, and Strikers jet setted to San Francisco again.
Yeah.
How are you, Piere?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, pity it was in New York. But anyway, it's the best I
Yes,
could do.
we did New York live, didn't we? So
That's it.
that was so good. So we announced today that we were going to make a big announcement, and I've been aware for a while now, but so we just pull the plaster off straight away and then have a chat afterwards.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, finally, I think everyone's been waiting for it. Well, those who want to and those who don't want me to. But I'm finally calling a day. I'm finally announcing my retirement. Um, I've I haven't renewed my license for the new season, which starts the 1st of August. So I've been waiting for my insurance to come through, and for those who don't know, our insurance as jockeys are very high. We are high risk, and since the racing authorities out there have pulled the plug on us jockeys, it's become more and more expensive to keep going. And so finally, my broker has come through and been accepted with a way lower, can I say, affordable amount to pay every month.
Yeah,
But not only that, it's not only the insurance. It's there's a time when you have to call it a day. I mean, I haven't really been enjoying riding for quite a while, and I've always been a competitive person. So to try and stay competitive and not really wanting to ride, it doesn't add up. Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's many calls, and it's also time to move on. The body gets older, and don't forget, if I keep riding, more wear and tear will happen, and I might struggle if I live another 20, 30, 40 years, who knows. And who knows, maybe there could be a fall around the corner as well, which is also in the back of a person's mind. So yeah, it just came time to call it a day.
And like obviously as one of your good friends, I'm going to call myself a good friend. We've discussed many options to try and convince you to stay on, but like if you really get to know Piere Strydom, then you'll know that the time is right because it's a lot of factors and we had to let Brian Lara go. We had to let a lot of legends go, and it's going to be a tough call. This, however, in true Glycian fashion, I think we're going to make it a little bit nostalgic for some of the younger people who don't know about Piere Strydom. Um, and I've invited some really special people on just to have a little bit of say. So I'm going to let the first one in. I don't know which order they're coming in, but there's a few key people that, and I've got some messages for you as well. So let's see who's on first. I've got Aoife controlling all of this. And um, so they wouldn't know what we've said up until now, but they will know once they come on. I got a feeling I
Yeah,
know.
and in the meantime, thank you so much, Joa. A lot of people will probably be asking me what am I going to do next.
Talk about it. We've got
So,
something up our sleeve.
so your initial stages, obviously, with you coming on board and giving me an opportunity to represent your brand, listing events. Obviously, I'll be attending some race meetings and through you and Soccer Shop to maybe give some of their punters advice on how to read a race card, how to learn
Yeah.
about how racing works, and hopefully that can open up their minds a bit and they can have a bet and make a few rand. Also, golf events and other events that I'll be attending for the immediate future, and hopefully we can build Glisten
Well,
events
yeah,
into a bigger company, and don't forget the shares and horses. So
yeah.
um, the selling of shares and horses is going to be more of a fun
And racing with
angle.
Piers Strydom, right? Getting his
Exactly, and
yeah.
it's going to be hopefully a fun angle because we know this game is expensive to own horses, but you know what? If you can add a fun element to it and a bit of
Yeah.
knowledge and advice from here on, hopefully your brand Glistening Events will keep growing.
Geez, you've said it 4 times in the last 10 minutes. You've adapted quickly. Yeah.
I've been, yeah.
We're just waiting for a few people to join. Obviously, technology and whatever. Can you remember your first winner, Boot?
Yeah, my first winner was actually at Scottsville on a horse called Strydom for Johnny Nicholson.
Johnny Nicholson.
Yeah, and I mean, I've always been known early days of being called striker coming from behind, and funny enough, my first winner was start to finish, but I was still learning in those days. I think it was my second year, and really didn't know what was going on, so it was all learning process all along.
So here we go. I've got a couple of ex-champions and future champions on.
Okay.
Gav, you muted. You muted. Yeah, you have to unmute Gav. And Goosen's also unmuted and unvideoed.
Yeah.
Listen, Piere, it was always going to be funny getting these oaks on because some of them have got no idea.
No, I thought I was bad.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a lot of things together. Our podcast is so popular. That's going to carry on going. We're going to be rebranding, launching a whole new podcast with new opportunities for everyone. But I do want to touch on a bit of the racing. And so the first winner was for Johnny Nicholson. We're nearly at 5,700 maybe.
Yeah, I think 5,600 and nearly 20, I think.
Yeah, Gavin, you're still muted. Louis, you're still muted. And yeah, you have to press the button that says unmute.
I remember, so when I went to the academy, because my dad basically forced me to become a jockey. I didn't want to ride horses, and but because I rode some horses in the mornings on school holidays for my dad.
There's Grumpy Face.
Hello,
you're looking in the fucking mirror.
Hello, Gus.
Yeah, you must be looking in the mirror. You talk about Grumpy Face here.
For the people, Gavin Larino's still trying to get himself sorted. He's focusing on the championship at the moment.
Well, not bad for a 64-year-old dumb Dutchman like me. I got on.
Right. So for those people that don't know, Louis Goosen, in the early days, instrumental in getting the career going in Joburg. Piere? Louis?
Yeah, Louis can tell you his side. I'll quickly tell you my side. I remember riding in Piere and I was doing very well, and Louis came down. Remember, I was going out with Louis' sister at that time, BT, and so Louis came down to Piere and he saw me ride, and obviously he's had experience. His dad was a champion trainer in Port Elizabeth, even in the Greef and Smith era, and so obviously Louis saw and he thought, I'm a good jockey, a decent jockey, and he wants to try and get me into Johannesburg, and from there, I think Louis can take over.
I do. Before Louis says anything else, I do just want to be very clear on this, right? I'm really struggling with this retirement because, and no disrespect to Gavin and some of the other guys that are coming on, but I'm really going to miss watching this guy ride, Louis.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, look at those rides Saturday, guys. How were those rides? Yeah, it's amazing. So, sorry, but a flu going around here in Natal, so I've come across clearly. But it was amazing to see Piere ride. And then, of course, Joe, you were there as well. I mean, in those early days when you were doing René's rides and before, Piere was always such a marketable entity. So it was so very easy to take someone like that and market him. You know, that we must never forget is the ability, the riding ability, that he's the only one who thinks he wasn't the natural. But he was just so marketable and made it so easy to do, you know.
And funnily enough, I was watching. I've spoken to Piere 20 times today now. I've got tears in my eyes. I'm really struggling with this, but I'm going to try strong through it because, as somebody who loves racing, just thinking that I'm not going to watch this like riding again is doing my head in. But anyway, I'm going to compose myself. He reminds me a lot of Scotty Scheffler. There is so much more to Piere than riding horses. He is much more than just a fantastic jockey.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt. It's the whole package plus. You know, that's the whole point. It's the whole package, the whole parcel plus. And you know, this morning, Joe, before you got hold of me to tell me we're going to do this podcast and about retirement, I actually pulled an apprentice by the ear, and I said to him, now you worked this horse this morning, but you didn't make a bridge and you got a loop in your hands. I'm not your riding master. I teach them life skills and I teach them handicapping. But I said, you've got to have to go to your riding master and get this right. And I showed him Piere Strydom taking London News down to the start in the July.
Gav, you're still muted, Gav. Sorry, Louis. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we got, just those natural good hands, man. Those good hands. And I had the video. Daryl Daniels and I were looking at it the other day, and of London News on his way to the start. So those things are, jeez, man.
Gavin Lorena's there.
Hello.
Hello, Gav. Finally.
Yeah.
So Louis, the early days, Gavin, just one more story with Louis, and then we'll come to you. But the early days, getting him rides relatively easy, but he still had to deliver, and cheese, did he deliver?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, his first ride was 100-1 shot for a horse called White Horse, really, for the late Mr. Des Renault. And it was tipped to run 45 lengths behind the second last horse. I think he got it to run fourth. But yeah, no, it was what a journey.
Yeah, I must say one thing about Louis, how Louis helped me. Louis always had a modern way of thinking, his modern techniques and going forward. And by coming up to Joburg, Louis organized me a job with Brett Warren. And I mean, Brett Warren had a strong string in those days, so that was a huge boost. But also, like Louis would say to me, we're going to go to track. We're going to go and ride work at Newmarket. We're going to go and ride work at Rikey 17 from there. We're going to get the norms and we're going to get the rides. And, it was Louis' sort of guidance in his early days, coming from PE, where I was comfortable, to the big wall of Joburg, and trying to fit in, make a name, and get the best rides. I mean, I ride to Newmarket. Actually, my first morning I went to ride work at Newmarket. And I remember getting on a horse for Brett Warren, trotting to the track, and the jockey, I won't mention his name. And as I walked past, he was on a horse, I was on a horse, and we walked past one another. And he said to me, "You must be an idiot." And I was like, "Wow, why?" He says, "In PE, you were a big fish in a small pond. Now you're going to be a small fish in a big pond." And that was my introduction in Joburg, from a fellow jockey in those days. And it was very intimidating, because I thought I did well in PE, but I still have done nothing in Johannesburg. And obviously I had to try and break those barriers down. And
you didn't break them down, you smashed them, right?
Yeah, but that jockey must have been greedy,
Listen, Gav, we don't have Gav for long because Gav's dealing with becoming the next South African champion jockey. Gav, what's it like? Well, we're going to lose him now, so that's a few extra winners for you this next season. But what's he been like as a colleague and as somebody who challenges you?
Look, to be very, very honest, I'm going to really miss Piere. First of all, because he's always brought out the best in me. I can remember when we went to ride in Hong Kong, like I was riding winners and I was going through the motions, but I didn't feel like I needed to be competitive. But when he's around, I bring that extra edge.
Yeah.
But look, throughout the years, as long as I remember, Piere was always my hero. I always looked up to him. I remember it was one of the jockeys, broken collarbone or something. I must have been 7 or 8 years old. And I remember as far back as that. And then obviously into Piere won it on London News. I think that was in 95 or 96.
Yeah, 96.
Something like that. And ever since then I wanted to win the July. So I mean, we go back a long way. We've only been riding together for 20 years, but I looked up to him from a long time before that. And it's always been great to watch him ride. And it's always been he's been a great competitor.
Gav?
Thanks, Gav. Yeah, it's always been nice competing against you, because you put your work in, your studying, and you know, you're not going to give an inch, you know, so you knew you had to be at your best.
Take it. You had to take the inch, right?
100%.
But that's how you wanted, right? That's how you both wanted, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that's what racing's about. And I mean, the punter wants it. He wants the best out of you. The owner wants the best. The trainer wants the best. And if you don't give it, you can't. I mean, sometimes you got to, obviously not sometimes, you got to respect another man's life, because when you ride out there are other jockeys' lives at stake, and you hope that that jockey will give you respect as well, consider your safety. But at the same time, you aren't just going to give gaps away easily. You know, and if you don't take those gaps, you are just not going to be competitive. You know, and that's one thing about Gavin. He's very, very competitive, and that's why I say it brings the best out of you, because you know, if you sit on your laurels, Gavin's going to come and take it away from you.
Oh, brilliant. All right, Gav, thank you so much. Last words for Strike. I'm sure you're still going to see him. Piere is going to ride until the last race meeting of the season. Hopefully you see his arse more times than you see his face. Because I want him to ride another few winners before the end of the season. But last words, Gav, and then we're going to bring the next person in. Louis can stay on if you can.
All good.
Yeah, I mean, who must I speak now?
Yeah, I'll speak and then just hang up.
It's been fantastic growing up watching Piere. His balance, you know, he always says he never wants to be a jockey, but if anyone's got an understanding of a horse, it's him. And how he manages to get them run without having to give them a crack to get them to their best. I think that's very special, and we're going to miss that.
I hear Vicky talking in the background there. Does she want to say something?
Want to say something, Vix? I must say, the best ride of all time's got to be JJ the Jet Plane.
Oh, what a ride.
Yeah, I agree.
What
Yes.
a ride.
Yes.
If Piere rode that race 100 times, he did it 99 times. And that's one race that will live with us forever.
I agree. Thank you, Gav.
You're right. That race just worked out to perfection. But thank you so much for your kind words. Appreciate coming on the show.
Thanks, Gav. Hang up.
Thank you guys so much.
Here's that, Gav.
Thank you, bye.
Bye. Right. Yeah. The next ones are on now. This is a bit closer to home. I think where it all started, funnily enough.
Yeah.
There we've got Tilly, Pierre's mom, Tanya, his sister, and Pierre's youngest boy.
Oldest boy, Olive.
I know he's the oldest.
Tell him, Ollie. Tell him.
I know he's the oldest.
Nice seeing you guys. I know my mom's always been probably my biggest supporter. Huh?
Yeah.
I think Ollie's giving her a good run for her money.
Listen, guys, the day has come. We don't want the day to come. I mean, it's hectic, but I wanted to do this podcast because this podcast is going to be around forever, right? Same as his record. And what was he like? I mean, as a brother, as a father, as a son, and as South Africa's greatest jockey.
Can I go first, please? Because I've been with him the longest besides my mother and father. So it was a blessing growing up with Piere. We during the holidays, we would ride horses. Piere, do you remember 21? And then my dad brought this horse home, and Piere would ride without a saddle. And my dad taught him to put his arms out so that Piere would stand up straight like an acrobat, so that he could learn balance.
Yeah.
And then the horse would go down and turn and run back, and Piere managed to keep his balance. And that's my biggest childhood memory with regards to horses. There's other memories that I don't think is appropriate to tell on this forum, Piere.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. The censored version. And then obviously Piere with Teesside, I was my dad's stable employee for a while. And with Teesside, Piere made a name for himself with various horses. And a wonderful memory for me was when, I think it was Piere 1988, when you rode Gitana, your first ride in the Durban July.
That's right.
I was based in PE, and Pete Stein still gave me a call all the way from Cape Town to ride his horse in July. So it was quite an honor. And we came from tail of the field to finish second. So it was a nice introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Jeff Lloyd a fine. You got a
Yeah,
fine for
Jeff Lloyd
Jeff Lloyd.
finished third, eh?
Yeah, you can,
So what was wonderful about that is when we got to Durban, we traveled with Piere to Durban. We wanted to go and support him, and we opened the newspaper, and the last page, there was a spreadsheet, Piere, I don't know if you remember, and it had where they were tipping the horses to run, and Piere was tipped to run last on Gitano at 100-1. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was a
And
big
then on
upside.
the race day, we were, of course, very excited and very positive. Louis, you'll agree with me. We
Yeah.
knew this guy had lots of talent, and got to the race day. Obviously, you can't be at the Durban July and not put a few rand on. Went down to go put some money on, but there were so many people. It was so full that when after putting our money on, the horses went, and we, at the end of the day, trying to get through the crowd, only managed to see that little bit, when you come from underneath the
Yes.
pavilions, and only saw that little bit, Piere running second. But that was an absolutely amazing thrill and such an honor to see him in action at a Durban July. And obviously the rest, as they say, is history.
It is. Luckily, you didn't speak to him before the race. He would have told you why it couldn't win.
No, he
Yeah,
was
that's
okay.
correct, Joe. Correct.
So out of the weights, traveled, didn't sleep, didn't eat. Ollie,
Yeah.
what's it like, boy? The ledge, she's your dad.
Him being my dad.
Because people
Um,
don't know. People see him as striker Strydom, 50,000 winners, all of these things. But actually, I've had the pleasure of watching him with you. He is the most present person I've ever met.
he's almost in his 60s and he acts like he's 25, which is nice, but he also acts like I'm 25.
No, you act like you're 25.
Yeah.
You don't need encouragement for that.
I try to go to the races with him as much as I can, and it's nice to see him win. I get excited, but sometimes when he gives up on the horse, I laugh at him.
Sean
The
Terry's
parachute, right?
Sean Terry's coming on later. He calls it the parachute.
Parachute.
When his
He just
arms
gives up.
Well, Ollie, I must say, Ollie loves the attention at racing. I don't want him to become a jockey, but I won't stop him if he wants to.
Yeah.
But every time he comes with me to the races, he comes back, and I can just see it looks like he wants to become a jockey. He loves the horses, he loves the people, loves the attention.
Yeah, listen, you've got a lot to look forward to, but lots of thousands of winners, lots of marriages, lots of money. and maybe you can just be as famous as your dad one day, which would be awesome. Okay, what about the main person on the call? Come on, Tilly.
Are you with me now?
Of course.
Okay. I want to say I was blessed having Piere, first little Strydom boy in those ages. Piere was a cute, lovable little boy. He loved sleeping in boxes. When we looked for him, he was sleeping in the box. Everybody loved him. He was like a quiet child, and he was spoiled. I can recall when he went with my mom on holiday to Joburg, and he had to go from Joburg to Durban. Hacky assigned him to the academy, and there was no time for him to come home from Joburg to PE. There wasn't a plane to Durban there. So I cried my heart out, needless to say, not saying properly goodbye. His uncle kindly went on a scooter getting him academy clothes, because he only went with like a short and a swimming pants to Joburg. And then Jock. Okay, so now Pierre's in the academy, and Pierre used to phone me, ask me for something sweet, something nice. I used to send him little parcels, hide the biltong or the boerewors in the clothes until he was
Turkey,
caught
man.
out one day.
Turkey.
Hey, Pierre?
Tur-
He was caught out and
Turkey.
then he and yes, correct, turkeys. And he was caught out and it was taken away, and I was told I can't send him anything anymore. So Jock had goats. Jock sold some of his goats and he paid for me to go and visit Piere at the academy,
Wow.
which was a treat. And I got to the academy and Piere was riding a horse. I think it was something like Happy Magic. It was a dark horse and the horse like ran away. And it was either Mr. Buckham or Mr. Curtis. I'm not sure. They were the academy masters and they one of them stood next to me and he said to me, that boy is going to be a good jockey. The horse never runs away, but he's seen his mom now. But yeah, that was one of those things, and something very, I find always joking as a little joke. When Piere rode the July conglomerate, I always say it
Yes,
wrong.
the conglomerate,
Um,
yes.
yeah, we were standing there at the rails. Piere went off and the horses was about to jump. And here little Oliver comes, he wants to go to the toilet. So me as the grandmother, I had to take him to the toilet. So I went with him, stood inside with him, and I could faintly hear the horses. And after the horse won, I came out, and the first people I saw, I said, did Piere win? Did he win on the conglomerate? Anyhow, they looked at me as if to say, where does this woman come from?
The
And
only person on the race course not to watch the race.
yeah, and they say, yeah. But Piere, I want to wish you a very happy future. I will miss you on the races, watching the horses. But
Yeah, I miss my messages every race meeting before the races. I
Yeah.
get a message from you and always
Yeah.
wishing me well. So yeah,
yeah.
I miss
So
that.
what am I going to do now, boy?
Send him the messages anyway. Tilly. But again, I really want this podcast also to be about him as a person. He hasn't changed, has he?
Some traits.
So hasn't
No, he
changed.
hasn't
No, he
changed.
hasn't changed. He has changed a little bit. In the past,
Oh,
he
the
would,
highlights and the injections and all that.
no, he hasn't changed. Pierre was
Yeah.
always like conservative, if I can put it that way. He wasn't a person that would go out and just jaw, that I know of, and enjoy life. And he preferred standing in the background, watching what's going on there. If I'm right, Pierre?
Mark, I'm sorry, that's not true. There's a lot you don't
This
know,
is-
Mark.
Stories.
I'm with you on this one, Louis.
When MJ Winnendal went to Joburg, there's a few stories that I can guarantee.
I think maybe Louis changed him, eh?
Uh,
Maybe Louis, you were influenced there?
Yeah, Mark, I was a goody. He corrupted me, Mark.
Okay. No, Pierre's always, you can see he's always been very neat, very tidy. I
germaphobe.
don't know, I must compliment the academy. Maybe they contributed, but Pierre was always very tidy. The only thing that he loved was condensed milk.
Still
He
the
would
same. Nothing's changed.
share all the
Dirty.
kids, the other kids, condensed milk. He would put his in the drawer.
For the ants.
For the ants.
Thanks, yeah.
No,
Thank you, Tilly, so much.
pleasure.
And I'm hoping that everybody who's watching this is getting an insight into what Pierre's like.
Okay.
Jacques, no glasses. You can see the screen again. Hello, Willem.
Now I'm doing braille from the bottom.
It must be that indigo. I see you getting used to this branding thing. Well done.
Yeah, we're trying.
Okay, tell us about your brother. You're going to miss him.
Firstly, thanks for having us. Honored to be here.
listen,
Yeah,
That-
I think
it
Strydom
had to be
started at
done.
an early age being very competitive. Sometimes we can say he's a bad loser. I mean, I remember playing Monopoly and he enjoyed the game, but the moment he saw that he was not a winner, he'll find an excuse to go get some water or a cool drink and accidentally knock the whole board over, and we have to start from scratch. So I'm not saying in a bad way, because you know, he's that winner in him that wants to be one all the time. I remember doing his rides in PE for a while, and he'll land, and you know, you will fetch him because you want to spend some time with him. I mean, he was a stranger in the house. He left home at the age of like 13 or 14, so we didn't really know him that well. So you want to spend time with him, go fetch him, and then on your way to course, he started the race car, and he said, "Boy, why am I riding this? Why am I riding this?" And I'll say, "But at least let's finish a day before you give me the 8-kak parade." So then you have a good day, and after I said, "Hey boy, how did it go?" No, thanks, you had 3. Then it's no, oh, job well done. It's just, oh, we did all right. So always been competitive. Yet, like my mom said, straight to the T. He was a master in his trade. And it was a honor to see him just not
Yeah.
being a master in his trade, but being the master of masters. Was job well done, brother.
Yeah, and I
Thank
mean, excluding him being your brother, and Louis excluding him being your ex-brother-in-law, and excluding him being my friend, he is undoubtedly on a horse where he belongs. Like, that's it, right?
I think if
Yeah,
they can
amazing.
rewrite, sorry, Louis, I think if they can rewrite the history books, they call him Striker because he used to strike at the death. But
Yeah.
I think if you think about it in hindsight, they should have called him Wow, because how often then you see him get the winning post, not in the nick of time, at the exact time, the guys go, "Wow, how did he get that right?" So it should have been not Striker, it should have been Wow.
And
My
Mr. Strydom, how was it
Before
in
My
you
those
name is
days?
Hacky.
before you
Happy.
get to my dad,
Oh, you
please,
can't speak anyway. You've
I
silenced.
need to say that Piere was extremely intelligent and still is. At school, when we were in grades, those days standard 5,
Yeah.
he won the award for the most the first class position in average as well as in maths. So
Okay.
there's a book that was written, and somebody said that he had turned to horse racing because he wasn't clever enough. But on the contrary, he was extremely bright. And the headmaster and the teachers contacted my parents. They were very upset that he was going into horse racing and wasn't becoming a doctor or something because he was
Wow.
so intelligent. So I just wanted to put that on record
He
and
would have
say,
struggled. He would have struggled as a doctor because he's obsessed with desserts. Now,
okay, well,
his hands would have been quite big if he'd just gone on the dessert journey 45 years ago.
I'll
so
say
I'm
thank
going to
you.
love and leave the group by
Yeah.
saying, Piere, I'm very proud of you. I'm very
Yeah.
proud to be your sister. You've done yourself proud. You've done your family proud.
Port
And
Elizabeth. Port Elizabeth. He's done Port Elizabeth proud.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
South Africa,
And so-
really.
Internationally.
Yeah.
I
So
must say-
very proud of you, my bud.
Yes. Say thank you to Tanya, my sister. We always argued who did the best in school, and we are still arguing about it. So, but thank you.
Okay, so
Okay,
Hickey,
now it's on record. It's you. Love you, my bud.
Hickey, what was he
And
like?
persevere.
What was he like in the mornings? Was he a good work rider?
Was he a good work rider?
Yes, very good. He's very good. Yeah, I taught
Really?
him well.
And I just want to add that Striker, as good as he is, he's still a family man.
Yeah.
Any excuse to get together, have a party. I remember the one day you phoned me, he said, "Boy, when's the next party? Let's get together." I said, "Yes, man. I'm not sure because it's no one's birthday. Christmas is quite far away." And he said, "I've got an idea. I'll get married. Let's have a party."
That's his game.
He's
So
a
which
funny
colors,
guy.
what colors is your dad wearing?
His personal
That is
colours.
my colors, my outfit when I was a jockey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's still
No,
my,
so
my
I've ridden a
colours.
lot of winners in those colors. Those are my dad's actually colors as an owner trainer.
Yeah.
So so I rode a lot of winners. My mom's colors are white and red again. So I remember winning in PE, coming from Durban Academy to PE, and I won an horse called Make a Move. And when I rode my first winner for my dad, I just remember the tears flowing, my mom leading in the horse. So those colors, my mom's colors, my dad's colors, very special to me.
Yeah. Listen, we're going to miss
Both life members. Mom and
What, the
dad, both life
colours?
members as color holders.
Really, eh? And I mean, you rode a lot of winners for Louis as well. I mean, I remember Louis would always want to rather have you on than anyone else. He always made the effort, right?
No, well, the two of us, we sort of pushed one another to help one another. And obviously, when Louis had also nominated with a big chance, I'd get the call. And there are many stories with Louis and his betting coups, and we'll tell it when I've actually
No,
stopped
that's
riding.
another podcast altogether. Did you pull betting coups? Other guy at the door, I'm busy. Did you pull betting coups in Port Elizabeth, guys?
Oupa,
Ja,
hulle vra hy pa betting koe afgetrek in PE.
plenty.
Met striker of met iemand anders?
Mooi.
With everybody, with anybody.
Okay,
I'll
guys.
help,
Jockeys
I'll help out a bit there. My dad, when I moved to P, my dad obviously gave me a lot of advice on how to ride a horse and
When to move.
and certain ways of riding a horse. And we started doing really well together. And I was apprenticed to my dad and to Des McLaughlin at that time. So I was apprenticed to 2 different stables. And obviously the success flowed, and we had quite a number of owners then all of a sudden wanted to be involved in the Strydom yard. And remember, we got a owner, well, 2 owners, Chickanini and Gous, and they were quite into the betting of horses. And they decided my dad must go to the sale and buy a whole lot of horses. And all these horses that were bought by my dad were all lined up to have a bet, to have a punt for them. So we would gallop these horses beforehand, so they were super ready. And these horses, 8 out of 10 won. So from there, my dad really did quite well. Unfortunately, it came a time, I think we're going to blame Louis here, when I had to make the call to move to bigger pastures, and that's basically the reason why I left P. I mean, I did so well in P. That's where the striker name came from. And like Gavin Fenter always said, he was 13 years champion jockey in a row, and then I came along and won the championship in PE. So obviously it was a very good learning curve riding in PE. I enjoy riding with the wind because I could use the wind to my advantage, either be very patient with the headwind or use the wind that helps you from behind. Obviously you've got to have the right type of horse to do that. You can't just do it with any horse. But so PE was a very good grounding for me. And then obviously Jacques, as my brother, he was also going to become a jockey at one stage, and he rode some winners before
when he was born.
Yes, sir. But he was quite small. He was actually smaller than me at a similar age when I went to the academy. And Jacques, I think he rode in quite a couple of amateur races, and he won like way more than the other amateur jocks. So yeah, unfortunately, he just grew a little bit too much.
So we've got actually 3 trainers on here right now. We've got Jacques, Heki, and Louis. And I want you each to answer the question that I'm going to ask. What's it like when you want him to ride a horse for you and he doesn't say no, he just goes, Then you know.
Brother, there's no medicine for that.
When he
I
doesn't
run out
ride,
of Imodiums. I buy Imodiums by the kilogram.
yeah. Piere, please ride this. It's got a chance.
I had a horse called Me Tarzan, which we won a Gold Cup with in PE, and then I took it to Joburg because I love to travel those days. So my boot phones or his agent phones, no, your boot can ride it. Yes, I mean he's always with stories, but okay, let me put him on. I mean it's a blessing. I wasn't going there, and he's not running for me. So feature race, we ran 4th. Like not even 2 lengths behind the winner. I thought, wow, what a run. My owners be partying lekker. My boot comes back afterwards. She says, hey boy. I said, yeah. She says, hey, not good enough, eh? Ask him, mother fudge. We ran 4th in a feature race, and he says, not good enough. Well, we went to Durban, we tried there, we ran 4th at Gold Cup there. But yeah, striker, the negative, but when he's got his foot in the irons, he does his best, and you'll get the best out of him.
You'll get the best out of him. And that's stuck through. Everybody needs to know that. I've said it so many times. Guys, thank you so much. Louis and you guys, if you guys can, Louis, anything else you want to say, or you guys say goodbye? This will be recorded forever.
No,
You're all
no,
good.
I'm going to write.
What did I say?
You know, I'm going to write a lot of stories that we know I'm going to write them. Then I'm going to get a certain amount of money to keep quiet about certain things, and then of course I'll also retire. You know.
Well, Pierre's not retiring. Pierre's joining Glycerin Events as our master of all. We're going to be racing horses, going racing, playing golf. We're doing all sorts of things, podcasts, you know, and he's still going to keep on delivering the best information. I'm now going to bring another trainer on. Guys, watch this, because I've got one last request, which you guys won't hear now.
Sorry, my dad allowed to say something before you do that, if you don't
Perfect.
mind.
Of course, of course, of course.
Okay.
Now, what I want to say, Piere, he was about 18 months old, and I was had a guy that I used to tip to, and he said, "Please, I must come." And this horse keeps on dumping the children. So I went in and I told the worker, the groom. I said, "Please, you must feed this horse enough feed, and if you go out for riding, you mustn't come back for any food, because that horse knows he's gonna get fed. He dumps the people because he wants to come back to the
Manger.
to the manger to come and eat. Any case, so he was Piere was about 18 months old, and any case, I went there and I got on the horse. I made a few figure eights. I said, no, the horse is rather wise. Any case, the next minute he cried, he wants to get on. I said, okay, right, come sit for. Any case, so he got in front with me, and any case, those years, luckily, the roads were like a dirt road, not tar roads, but any case. There was in Lorraine, and in the case, next minute, went out, I trotted, I hacked, and he enjoyed it. He started laughing. The next minute, the horse stuck his toes in, and there we all traveled. And luckily, I held onto the horse, and all he could say is, stoute perkie, stoute perkie. The horse is not in any case. So eventually, after that story, then my wife, his mother, and her brother came there and ran to help him pick him up. I said, please, just put him back on the horse, otherwise he'll never get on the horse again. But any case, so what happened then, eventually, I battled to get him back on a horse. And that is another big story, like I said, and I actually forced him, and where the story comes from, Striker, I used to tell him, I said, I don't want you to win at the 200-meter mark. I want you to win at the winning post.
Well, the red mark. There was a
Aye.
red mark at the race course, I heard.
Yeah, but any case, so that's where he got the name from Striker. He used to come from nowhere and pip him on the post. And I mean, he was riding with top jocks, Roy Curley, Matthew Hawkins, Corey
Gerald
Walker,
Turner.
Roy Stamke. But any case, and that's why I told him the other day, I said, okay, we all got to retire, but I believe he's going to retire. I said, Gary Player, Ernie Els, all of those people also, they were great. They also retired. I said, but all you must do, I think, what you must do now, you must take up golf.
Thank you, Hickey. Thank you, Jacques. Thank you, Louis. We're going to finish with Sean Terry. Thanks, Sean. Thanks for coming. Guys, thanks for all your kind words for Piere. Stay safe.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much
having
for
us.
playing.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. If you just hang up, it's
yeah.
easier than us cutting you.
We'll chat afterwards. Thank you.
If you guys just leave the meeting, it's easier than me canceling.
Thank
Thank you, guys. So
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank
we're
you.
going to end with Sean. Before we cut to Sean, Piere, I spoke to Grant Harrison. He sends his love. He wanted to come on, but unfortunately he's driving somewhere today. But also, for those people that don't know, Grant was Pierre's agent for a long time with Louis and a few other people, and was instrumental in you becoming champion. I do think if we'd had him on, we would have spoken for 7 hours, because Grant doesn't keep quiet. Jeff Lloyd couldn't make it, and Dougie, I try to get Dougie on as well. They all send their love and the best for your retirement. But I've known Sean for a long time, but I haven't spent a lot of time with Sean until Lance got me to have a couple of horses with Sean. So I've had many dinners with Sean now. And I want to be honest, apart from Brian Weed, the late Brian Weed, the trainer, no other trainer, I'm sure I haven't maybe heard them, but no other trainer that I've spent time with has ever had so much adoration for you than Sean Terry. And I'm going to cry again because I can't believe he's retiring. Sean, just tell us.
Yeah, Pierre and I go way back when we started as friends, and he rode the occasional one for me. I just started training, and I tried to get Pierre to make an arrangement with me that he could ride any one of my horses that I chose, just one a month, and he refused. He said, "No, I'll call you when I when I need you." And that's how we started, and it took me a long time and a lot of years learning before I could pick up the phone and use Pierre when I needed him. But yeah, it's been a long journey, and I've always said, if you want to learn how to ride, watch Piere Strydom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say thank you to Sean. We're not just trainer and jockey team, if I can call it, but we're friends as well, and we've come such a long way from our golfing days. And like Sean was saying, he wanted me to ride his horses, and I was saying, "Oh, I'll phone you," but now the foot's or the shoes on the other foot. But Sean has never just dumped me. I mean, obviously getting older, and you got younger jocks coming through, and guys you want to, as a trainer, you want to build with or go. But Sean's always been there on the side, keeping me going, and yeah, it's just not a jockey trainer thing. It's a friendship thing, and I always have appreciated being involved with Sean. I mean, we know his records are unbelievable in South Africa, and yeah, just to be a friend all these years.
You see, and I want people to watch all of this because sometimes Pierre gets labeled negative, etc. But he rode so well so often that he'd be riding 12 to 10 shots that should have been 3 to 1 short. That's a fact.
Yeah, 100%.
So
I'll give you
the criticism comes from, he got beat. But when you get to know him, and I mean, I can't stop crying, but when you think that we're not going to have this guy riding, it's really heartbreaking because he gives his best. And if he doesn't think your horse has got a chance, he's not going to ride it because he wants to win every single race.
Yes, he's brutally honest, and I mean, obviously that hasn't helped his marketing campaign, but certainly he tells you as it is, And one thing about Pierre is that he also has to take a little bit of the expectation and pressure off of himself, because sometimes it is unrealistic. So he has to tone it down a little bit so everybody has the same sort of expectation. And a lot of people perceive that as negativity. He's trying to keep it real. I'm a dreamer. I like dreaming, and I always want to shoot for the next level. And I tell Pierre, don't worry. You deliver what your realistic expectation is. It's not going to change my expectation. And we've always got on well that way. He's given me the truth. And when a jockey gives you the truth, there's not a lot more you can ask for.
Yeah.
And
so you got a couple of stories. The parachute, I've only ever heard you mention the parachute, but we have to tell
Sean started that, right? Sean started that.
Like wildfire. There's one story I'm going to ask that you guys tell, because I know what Pierre's impression was. And then there's another couple you can tell, and then we'll knock it on the head. I'm going to ask you to tell the story of Legal Eagle's debut.
There's not a lot to tell, really,
Not from your perspective, but I know what he thought. I know what Pierre thought.
Yeah, I said, Pierre, I think this is a really nice horse. Obviously, 1200, it's a bit sharp, but I think this is one of my better ones. And basically, he did everything right. The horse was outpaced, came with a nice run, probably the last 200 to get beaten about 5 to 6 lengths. And Pierre basically said, yeah, Sean, it's a nice run, and he's definitely going to win 1 or 2. So I said, okay, thanks for that, Pierre.
Yeah, I was like always say to Sean, is this your best?
And then Pierre, 4 months later, you see the horse nominated. You don't phone for the ride because it's not very good. And
well, I didn't remember the name because it made no impression. I saw the race card. I think I had another ride in the race, and I saw money coming for this horse, Legal Eagle, and I thought, yeah, why are they backing his horse like this? I mean, I rode it first time out, and it wasn't like that. I wasn't that impressed. And well, Legal Eagle, we know how many he's won. I mean, what does he won? The Queen's Plate. What else? How many features did he win? Grade 1, 5,
He
6.
won 3 King's Plates. He got beaten 4th time. He was unbeaten over a mile in South Africa, something for his first 12 starts over the distance. So, yeah, he was horse of the year and obviously champion miler multiple times.
Just ran a cock debut.
But the bottom line is, thank goodness my expectations weren't as high as Pierre's.
Yeah. Okay, Sean, give us one last one. I know there's so many, but give us anything you can think of that can resonate with the viewers and what sums this guy up.
Listen, the bottom line is we've had a lot of laughs along the way, and you know, as serious as he wants to be, sometimes he really is comical. And when it comes to race riding, it's a different story. And you know, every young jock I tell, you know, if you can judge pace like Piere Strydom, you're on your way. You're not going to have his seat, his hands, his balance, but if you can judge pace like he does, you'll have the game at your mercy. But I remember when I was starting out, I had obviously Chris Van Niekerk was a big owner in my yard at the time. And it was time to now start attacking the bigger meetings. And I had a horse lined up for him for July Day. It was a juvenile named Split Decision. And it was in a 1900, they used to have a 1900 juvenile on July Day. It was a lovely race. Everybody used to look forward to. And those horses used to come and be your classic horses the next season.
Yeah.
So I had a Split Decision lined up. You spoke of Grant Harrison. Grant Harrison said, no, Piere can't ride it. He's got too many rides on the day. I said, please, Grant, Pierre's my mate. I need one favor, please. No, he can't. I said, okay, let me try and message Piere. Piere said, no, leave it to Grant, whatever Grant says. Okay, that was that. I couldn't find anybody that I was happy with that could do the weight, but Reese could do the weight, and he was going to be a kilo over. So I said, boys, if this horse gets beat because of the kilo, you boys are in big trouble with me. Lo and behold, went down to the line, heads up, heads down, and we got beat. And I always said to Pierre, you see, Pierre, if you had just ridden the horse, it would have won, man. And you know, there's so many stories like that. But yeah, that was a long time ago, and we've had great times since then.
Sean, last words for him before I sign off. Oh, so you're going to see him still. Okay, while you're on, I'm just going to say it. Whoever's watching this podcast, Piere, your last meeting is going to be the last Thursday of the month.
Well, I'm booked to ride on Saturday, Gold Cup meeting.
Yeah.
My last ride is Royal Victory. If I win a Royal Victory, then I'm going to jump off straight away. And I want to go off on a winning note. But there's one more meeting left, the 31st of August, end of the season.
At the Val.
At the Val. So, you know, I'm probably going to ride that meeting. And I already said to Sean, put me one.
Listen,
one
not
there.
only Sean, Terry, listen to me. Every trainer in South Africa watching this podcast, let's force him to get 8 rides, like in the old days. 8 rides, 8 favorites, because let's get him out on a bang. We're going to miss him so much. He wants to go out on a high. Let's give him what we can. Sean?
Yeah, that'll be fantastic. We'll do what we can. It is the dead of winter, unfortunately, but we'll see what we can do. And I'd love to have
So
him.
nothing scratchy, nothing that goes down to the start funny.
100%. Yeah. No, we don't want to force the issue here, but yeah, it would be great. You know, Piere, it's been an absolute privilege having you write for me through the years. And there are 2 rides that come to mind when I think of Piere. The one, Pomodoro winning the July.
From 20, wasn't it?
Yeah, but besides getting over from the draw, if you just see when the man decides to ask for an effort or how he works up to his maximum gear, it's poetry in motion. And obviously, JJ, the jet plane in Hong Kong, I've never seen a ride like that in my life. And I think those 2 rides sum Piere up. And yeah, it's been a wonderful journey.
And I feel the same way. For me, I have to say JJ and what Piere did for me on Humdinger last year. I'll take that to my grave. Like,
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the kind words.
yeah, and if I'm going to speak on behalf of everyone in racing, even the oaks that criticize you when you get beat. Thank you. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, boys.
All the best.
Thanks, Shawnee. Thank you so much,